quickly make payments in over 30 currencies with Revolut Business.
But I suppose you always want to know what you tune in with us every week. You want to know what our experts know, the people who love this game as much as you do, who've played out there and know these people intimately as well, like close to, and also understanding maybe some of the reasons behind why professionals behave in certain ways. It's not a great look. We can see that. He's clearly frustrated. He's clearly not in a great headspace there. I suppose first obvious question to you, Rich, is what do you understand about what we saw there from Rory? Bearing in mind he's always been very available to us, but he hasn't been. But obviously we saw him there answer those questions. He gave quite a lot away. What did you take from it, and perhaps why he feels like he does right now?
Yeah, I think that, thinking about it and actually talking to, Paul McGinley, yourself, just others, it kind of brought me back to what happened with me after the PGA Championship. And I know that's not quite so much like Rory winning the Grand Slam, but I guarantee you I went through a lot of the same emotions that I think he's going through right now. I chased the money at the end of the season. I didn't finish the season off very well. I had probably maybe 2-3 weeks at the end of the last event before I had to go back out to the Century Tournament Champions. And I stood on that first tee and I hated everything about golf. I hated wanting to be there. I hated the fact that I had to be there. I hated the fact that I felt like I should be there when, in fact, I wanted nothing to do with this. And it had nothing to do with the fact that, I just won the biggest tournament of my life, something that I never experienced, never expected to win or even thought about winning. And yet I stood up on this tee box and I was so angry. And it wasn't just with golf. I would get angry at the smallest things in life. Like I couldn't play you in a game of cards. And if I lost, I'd want to rip the cards in half and just storm out of the room. And I did that. It was all consuming that why am I not feeling in it? Why am I not the person that I think I should feel like after winning one of the 4 greatest tournaments of all time? And it was the first time in my life that I ever felt like, okay, I'm not in control of my emotions. I need to go talk to somebody. And I've talked to my first ever sports psychologist, Dr. Michael Arden, who's still a good pal of mine. But I literally got to the point where I just couldn't handle being around anybody or anything. And the last place I wanted to be was at a golf course. And I can understand why he might be in this position. And I'm kind of looking at it from that point now, because it doesn't look or feel like he really wants to be in and around this game right now. Not that he doesn't love it, not that he won't be back 100%, but it seems to me there's something inside that's eating at him and he doesn't quite know what it is, or maybe he does and he just has to figure out a way to disappear. It's not very fun to see. It's not very fun to watch. I think that as fans of the game, as fans of Rory McIlroy, like we all are, it's something that we don't expect to see because we were happy for him. But sometimes when you win a tournament, it doesn't make you happy. I think we saw that with Grayson Murray as well. It's a very strange phenomenon that happens with golfers, and it might be something Rory's going through right now.
So when you hear, because when you listen to a lot of people out there, they're saying it's this driver thing. It's the fact that he feels a bit hung out with the driver because he wasn't protected. He did nothing wrong with the driver. 10 other players failed that test that week, including the world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, who won the tournament. His name got out there. And because of the nature of the audience for a major championship, which is outside of our sport, people who maybe don't follow golf here, driver wasn't legal. He used a cheaty driver to win the Masters. And of course, that isn't the case. We all know this is all part of it. They're all close to the line. And that seems to be what's been lumped on this. From what you're saying, do you think that could just be the insult to the injury when you look at perhaps it's the devastating realization that he doesn't feel now what maybe he thought he would feel like having climbed the highest mountain in the game of golf?
There's no doubt. And I think it's kind of the same thing from what I've heard. David Duval is a good pal of mine, but listen, he kind of got the same place, got to world number 1, won the Open Championship, and all of a sudden it just wasn't roses for him. I know he battled a couple of injuries as well, but sometimes things don't go your way as far as your expectations of what you just accomplished. I mean, look at the emotions that Rory got rid of on the 18th green at Augusta National. I mean, we were all just over the moon, ecstatic, teary-eyed even in Sky Sports Golf when we were on the air. But I think, though, at the end of the day, though, especially when Rory would go to the next Quail Hollow, the next place, the PGA Championship, where he's had a number of successes, and all of a sudden his driver doesn't pass. Okay, that's fine. Let's get past it. But all of a sudden it leaks out, and then people start pouncing on, like, why are people doing this to me? All I did was go out and do something that I wanted to do my entire life. And all of a sudden, people think that I'm a cheater and winning the Masters, winning the career Grand Champ. That's nonsense. No, I mean, anybody in the game that knows it's not cheating, because, listen, there's nothing we can do. You hit that driver like he does 150 times, something's bound to give.
However, we got to show the other side of this coin as well. The media itself, I get on well with Rory.
Yeah.
Doesn't change my life if we speak to him or not. However, I know in our job that whatever we do with him, whether it's Anna up there at the Sky Car or any of our platforms, that is the route for all of these top professionals to the most important people in this sport, which are you at home right there, who want to hear from Rory McIlroy or Adam Scott with a chance tomorrow, or Victor Hovland with a chance. And Rory McIlroy is the most relevant player in the game right now because of that. So of course we want to hear from you. When Rory looks at it, it feels like it's quite combative towards the media as a whole. And of course, it's our family that watch on Sky Sports Golf that are the ones who are affected, and around the world, of course. Is it a little bit naive, do you believe, the way he has dealt with the obvious discomfort and frustration that he's feeling in his life on the course at the moment in the aftermath of a monumental achievement?
Absolutely, and I understand what you're saying wholeheartedly. And again, I kind of go back to, sometimes it's hard to see the forest from the trees, just because he's in such a headspace, I believe, that he's having a hard time deciphering, why am I feeling so? Why don't I feel comfortable talking to anybody about this? Because I feel like I'm going to be attacked, instead of we want to heap praises on him. I mean, we want to talk to him because we want to say, Rory, amazing round. You didn't get a whole lot of it. Looked like you battled a little bit, so on and so forth. But we want to talk to him because we like him. We enjoy his company. We enjoy the answers he has to give. But I think that right now he's having a hard time getting past the fact that he feels that the media has betrayed him over the driver incident. It's
I feel
not
like he knows it though, right? I feel he knows that. I just feel like he can't see the wood for the trees because of the frustration he's feeling.
Absolutely. And I hope that he's able to kind of step back, take a break from this game, and go find solace and peace away from the golf course. Listen, mail your golf clubs to Portrush. Mail them right now. Go ahead. He may not know how to use the mail and get him there. Just use good, Uber driver can probably haul him over there from London. But I just, I think he just needs to disappear and just have a massive reset and just be Rory McIlroy, the husband, the father, and not the golfer.
He does raise some interesting points within it. He said that, we're not, it's not mandatory for us to speak to the media. I've skipped you guys before. I'm just choosing to do a bit more now. And again, all with a pinch of salt. I think there's an element of anger that he said. I think when he looks back in the future, there'll be a softness to Rory that we've enjoyed, a personable side of Rory. It's one of the reasons he's the best interview, arguably, in the game. But it's a tough one there, how he's dealing with that. Yeah. But he does raise that point of, we're not obliged to. Is that the attitude that concerns you a bit? If it was adopted wholeheartedly by players, then why should we? We don't need to do this. Why do we need to do interviews for the media? What's your take on that?
Well, we scolded Colin Morikawa for not speaking to us after the heartbreaking loss at Bay Hill earlier this year. And then him doubling down saying, I'm not obligated to talk to you guys. I do it because I can. I don't have to do that. And Rory's just kind of reiterating that. But I also think, though, that in time, Rory will get back to, doing what he does, which is embracing talking to us, because I think he does. I think he enjoys spending some time at the right time. As he said, I didn't talk to anybody after Thursday's round at Augusta after finishing with a couple of double bogeys in the last 4 holes. He just wanted to get out of there. He wanted to go straight to the range and work on something and get back for an early tee time the next day. I think, though, that he just has to get away from all the things that are frustrating him right now, which is not just the game of golf inside the ropes. It's feeling like he has to talk to everybody in the media. And again, I think in time he'll get there again. It's just going to take a little time.
Probably a little bit of frustration as well, because he was carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders, championing the PGA Tour and the battle with Liv for an awful long time.
There's a lot of things that could be.
There's a lot of water under the bridge as well.
No doubt, no doubt.
Always 2 sides to every story. Always 2 sides. Yep. And of course, that has been his choice. You might disagree with what he's done. It might have been quite an abrasive watch. I certainly feel it, and I'm a big champion of what Rory McIlroy says and does most of the time. We can all get things wrong at times as well, and he hasn't played his best this week, but I do hope that we get to speak to him tomorrow. I know we'll ask for him because we know that there's another major to come. It's in his homeland at Royal Portrush And certainly we're going to want to have the thoughts of Rory as we move towards that, the final major of the year. We'll certainly be asking for him, because after all, it's through us that he gets to speak to you at home as well.